Good morning, everybody. Almost afternoon. I just wanted to share something. I just finished reading the Gospel of Nicodemus, and I just wanted to share my thoughts. And honestly, I'm amazed at this text. Is it word for word perfect? No. I find small discrepancies. In the beginning of the text, some of the events of Christ's crucifixion are not exactly accurate, but they're very insignificant. Um, it surely is not enough to constitute, um, to make the text not valid. Um, it could be a manuscript error. It just could be a writer's error over hundreds and thousands of years, etc. It's just small discrepancies in the text. I also find a discrepancy at the very end of the text where it gives a biblical chronology, but I could be wrong. I'm not a math guy, really. That I would have to actually take the time and study that stuff out. But I finished reading the gospel today, and I have to say it is absolutely doctrinally sound. And what makes this gospel important is to really understand the power of the cross and what Jesus did on the cross and how it defeated death in the realms outside of earth. It's amazing. And yes, it is absolutely backed up by scripture, not only in Psalm 107, but Psalm 24. It's in Isaiah. Um, we see the fulfillment of Zechariah's prophecies of Jesus depicted in these texts. There, I've found from my own discernment things written in these texts that many people probably couldn't know until the last days. So, this stuff is definitely inspired, or whoever wrote this text, whether it be Nicodemus, I don't know. Whoever wrote this text had sound doctrine, sound timeline of of end time prophecy, stuff that we stumble on. There's confirmation of, like, for example, the resurrection of the Lord coming in the clouds, and for the saints to be entering to fight for the great tribulation, the 144,000. And it gives insight and it confirms Revelation 11, what gets into the two witnesses. A lot of people are confused about the two witnesses, but I think the Gospel of Nicodemus gives some insight into that. This text definitely constitutes a chapter by chapter study. And, I know I don't have the time, and I want to do all these things. I want to make a PDF of this gospel and do the footnotes and the cross references and stuff, because it's worth it. I meditated on this stuff, and I don't have all the answers, but yeah, this text is absolutely doctrinally sound, and I would have to study it out more, but I think it absolutely confirms what's in Second Esdras and in the book of Enoch about, like, what happens when we die. And to really understand these things and to understand the power of the cross is the purpose of this gospel. It's really amazing. So I just wanted to share that and encourage people to read this text. If they have the time or if they want to, it's worth it. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. I don't know, I want to do a study. I feel like this text should be studied in detail. We should be doing videos on this text, chapter by chapter, going over cross references, and sharing the wisdom that's in this text, because it's absolutely sound. And I think it's ironic because the Gospel of Nicodemus is found within the Nag Hammadi library, within a cache of texts that are mostly considered false gospels. But this one is not a false gospel. I don't know, whatever you depict as false, but the contents of the text are sound, accurate, edifying, and building up, and meant for our discernment, and should be read and studied. That's for sure. and it's amazing. It's also called the Acts of Pontius Pilate, which is probably the most proper name of this text, but people didn't want to call the Gospel of Nicodemus the Acts of Pilate because people would be, oh, it's pagan, it's this and that. It would get a bad rep, but there are also texts that letters that Pilate wrote, and I think this gospel references those. So now it makes me want to read those to see if there's any confirmations of the public record that Pilate actually wrote to King Herod. So it's really amazing how you just want to dig further and further. Yeah, but if I just recommend this, I recommend this text. I highly recommend this text. Try to read it with one's, if you could find cross references to point you in the right direction and to show you these things. But if anyone is, I'll just point them in the direction of Psalm 24, Psalm 107, just for starters. And you could see, Christ descending into hell, breaking apart the brass bars asunder, and freeing the captive of atoms. That is absolutely doctrinal. I mean, it's absolutely scriptural and it's absolutely biblical. Psalm 24, Psalm 107 is a good place to start. It's in Isaiah too. So, and the prophecies of Zechariah in Luke chapter 1. It's in there. It's all in there. So, okay, I just wanted to share that, guys. God bless you.